Okay, welcome back. You can see that I'm on the reports tab right here, and we're going to take a look at this job summary report. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. That will open the job summary report. You can see the project name is listed here. This is the same project that you're building. It's just a different version of it, of mine. It's something I use for demos. Your average labor rate's listed right here. These are your phases of construction up here in the light blue: underground feeders, underground branch, above ground feeder, above ground branch, and so on. Okay? And listed underneath each phase of construction is the tasks associated with them. Okay. There's several columns here. The first one is allotted. That is the allotted hours and the dollar value of them per task based on the actual estimate. So it's the estimate hours times the estimate average labor rate to compile the dollars here. Any tasks that have been scheduled, you can see nothing's been scheduled on this particular phase of construction, but up here we have any hours that are scheduled be listed here and the dollar value of them. Any hours that have been logged against this schedule will be listed here. These are the actual hours that have been input into the system and the dollar value of them. So this is based on the actual average labor rate of the crew, as well as this right here. These two are both based on actual crew average labor rate. If excuse me, if you have any overtime logged against your project, it'll show up here. Now, the program automatically starts charging overtime for any employees who work over 40 hours. Whatever project they're assigned to work, when they cross that threshold, those hours will be allotted to that project. So it's automatically going to charge your time and a half. Supervision is listed here. Here's the allotted hours, the allotted dollars. If any supervision is actually used on the project, it'll accumulate here, as well as the dollar value. Same for the margin and material. Margin, you may recall, is adjustable for tasks, right? And so that you can take back some of those hours if you want to, either because you've evaluated the situation and decided that due to site-specific conditions you don't need all of those hours to complete that task, or because you want to cheat the hours a little bit to get your crew to run a little faster so that you can find out how competitive you can be if you have to be, right? And then this last column here is the percent complete. So basically this is telling you how many, what percentage of the hours against that task you've actually used to date, okay? Now, the percent complete per project is listed right here. You'll notice it's 0. The reason for that is because as tasks complete, they need to be checked off over here to tell the program that, okay, we're ready to tally our percentage of completion on this task because it's 100% complete now. So let's just assume that these first 6 tasks are complete. We've completed all of this work. And I will click refresh. Before I do that, I want to point out this right here, this 245% complete. Obviously, that doesn't mean it's 245% complete, because it's going to only be 0 to 100, right? But what it's telling us is we've used 245.8% of our hours against this task. So, it's a good way to keep an eye over here to see how your tasks are tracking in relation to the budget. Okay, so I've got these all ticked off right here. Now I'm going to tell the program that those tasks are done. I'll click refresh. That will tally up our percent complete to 100%. It tells us that all of these are 100%. And now we can tell that our phase of construction is 100% complete. This is the number that you'll be using for your billing at the end of the month. Normally, I try to break these tasks up similar to my billing, okay? And that's just a good idea. You don't have to do that, but if you do, then your percentages here will flow right into your monthly billing. Now, let's just say on a phase of construction like this with a lot of tasks in it, it's the end of the month. It's time to turn in completion percentages. We'll tick off all of the tasks that are done, click refresh, and then our percent complete will tally down here. Maybe, let's just say it's 53%. That's a very accurate record of your percent of completion for labor. Okay, so that'll help you a lot on your billing. You really don't even have to go out and look at the project. I mean, you can if you want, but your percent of completions will all be tallied up over here. You can see here that we used 61.3% of our hours on this task and 64.9% of our dollars. Tells me that the average labor rate for the crew was running a little higher than our projected average labor rate. But still, they only use 61% of the total hours to complete the phase of construction. So that's a good thing, right? Down here you can see that we use 96.5% of our hours and only 94.9% of our dollars. Tells me that we were running a little bit below our projected average labor rate. Red numbers in this report are bad. Green numbers, of course, are good. So if you see any red numbers pop up, you're going to want to find out what's going on there. So, you might want to make a call to the foreman on the project, or you may even want to visit the site and find out what's going on there. The thing about this program is it will give you early warnings. Sometimes, depending on the situation, these numbers might turn red before you actually go over budget on the task. Okay, so what it's telling you is, if you keep doing what you're doing on this task, you are going to exceed your budget. Okay, and so you're going to want to find out what's going on there and interrupt that and correct it so that you can, finish the task on budget ideally, or at least minimize the losses that you are going to have, right? So you can see here that, yes, we did go over dollars and hours. So, we had 4.8 hours, we used 12. We had $93, we used 228. But we still completed the phase of construction on budget, right? But when these things pop up, if this is a repetitive task, like, for example, if you're working on a high-rise office building and you're doing the trim out on the second floor and you're projecting to lose money, You might want to get that fixed right away, right? Before you get to the 15th floor and lose money on every floor. If you could get out there on the second floor, find out what the problem is, get it corrected, then you can profit on the remaining 13 floors, right? So sometimes it's not a matter of win or lose, it's a matter of minimizing losses too, right? Better to fix the problem early on and minimize those losses than to let it continue until the end and sink your boat. Maybe it's could possibly put your whole project over budget, right? So pay attention to these. I suggest that your project manager at least open this report and looks at it daily and checks for any red numbers. If you want to know what went on in a certain task, you can click on the task name and it'll pop up a little report to let you know, what the allotted hours and dollars were and how many hours were logged against it, who worked on it, that sort of thing. So just give you the details of what went on the task. And probably want to look at that before you make that phone call. All of your totals for the project will be listed down here at the bottom, so you can keep an eye on this. It'll tell you, your percent of completion against your percent of hours used and percent of dollars used. So this is good information to look at down here. Healthier project overall. Now, sometimes contractors want to see this data chopped up a little different. It's not a problem for us. If we know what you want, we can generally create a report that matches what you want. All of the data is getting entered into the program, so it's just a matter of how we, slice it up to put out a report. We can change this. If you give us a call and let us know what you want to see, we can generally help you out. Okay, so that is kind of the job summary report, and then I want to go back to this reports page. And last week we looked at this employee efficiency report. I want to look at that again. I told you that once we updated the job summary report, these numbers here would fill in, and as you can see, they have. So once you start ticking off tasks as being complete and clicking refresh so that the report knows, the program knows what tasks are completing, it'll start tallying up numbers for you. So your average labor rate is 1968. Your project percent efficiency is 127.2, meaning that you're 27.2% ahead of budget. Your allotted dollars for the tasks that have completed to date, per the estimate, were $6,307.57. The actual dollars you spent to complete those tasks was only $4,959.36. The allotted hours to complete those tasks was 325.3. The actual hours that you used to complete them were 252. Your project wage equivalent, it was $25.03 an hour. So even though your average labor rate is 1968, your crews are operating at a level of $25.03 an hour. So this is a very good report right here. It's early on in the project, but things are trending very well so far. So in addition to the job summary report, you're probably going to want to open this up and just take a look. You'll want to kind of look at your employees, see what they're doing. If anyone's having any problems, you want to get out there and get those solved, find out what the problems are. If it's training, get them the training that they need so that they can push on through the project and be profitable for you. Once you start putting hours in front of your workers and tracking what's going on, believe me, they're going to start performing. Nobody is intentionally going to be screwing off, or if they are, it's very rare. They're going to be trying to make you money and give you what you want. If they're not doing that, it's probably because they need some training, or it could be site-specific conditions that weren't anticipated. But anyway, you want to take a look at this so you can see where you are having problems, so you can get out there and get them corrected early. Okay, that's it for this week. I thank you very much for participating, and I will see you in the next video. We're going to start taking a look at some of these other tabs that we haven't explored yet. We're getting close to the end of our journey, but we'll hit on a few more of those and get this thing wrapped up. Thanks a lot.